Hello classmates, here we are ready to tackle chapter 11, another chapter you know so much about because it's about retailing, meaning when we go shopping. So you have experience with that all your life. And of course you have your textbook right there, something to write on and something to write with. Page 332, 332 ready to go, and I have my trusty helper Sonoma here. She's napping in my lap, and you can see Misty in the background, and Cecil is somewhere there too. So ready to go. Here we are. The important thing about this chapter is to remember that the same item can be sold to the different purchasers, and that determines whether it's retailing or wholesaling. I picked this beautiful landscaping thing. So if the person, if you're hiring a landscaper, and that person is going to the store and buys those stones and those plants, then that is a wholesale kind of transaction. Whereas if you're deciding to do this yourself and you go to Home Depot or whichever other store, and you purchase those stones and those plants, then that is a retail experience. Same thing for salt. If a restaurant buys this 20-pound bag of salt, then that is a wholesale process, whereas if you and I go and purchase the little one, then that is a retail experience. Clear? For this chapter, I'm going to focus this video on the parts that are necessary for our continuing project in this class. So it's going to be pretty retail oriented, okay? And of course, more and more now the retailers are using multiple channels, the mobile, online, in-store, and most still have call centers or chatbots of some kind. Just a quick reminder that you already have a lot of experience with those. I have at least 60 to 70, maybe even 100% of these stores you either have been to, have done business with in some way or one way or another, or at least you know about them, right? This is quite the list of major types of retail stores. I encourage you to look at this slide and pause the recording and think of examples from your experience for each of these types. Well, I have been to a supermarket today, Diablo Foods, which is large, high volume, self-service, not exactly low cost though, and my hunch is that it's not exactly low margin. When it comes to how retailers decide how to present their products, for example, it really brings us back to a previous chapter where we learned about segmentation and target market. Well, stores do that too. So once they are figuring out, okay, whom are we want to approach here, think of Lucky Stores versus Whole Foods. Okay, that's different. And that also, of course, shows what decoration, what kind of material do we use. And the whole thing is, of course, geared toward the customer because they're trying to create an experience for us there. And the price is a big part of that. Again, Whole Foods used to be pretty high price, and over time they came down a little bit. Whereas, for example, Target, the store, used to be pretty low prices, but they came up a little bit as they defined the target market differently. Keep thinking about your own experience with these things. All the kinds of promotions that we have learned about are usually used by them, and we will learn much more about this as we go along. Now, types of shopping centers. This is one of my favorite things to do, where I am asking you to look at the definition of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shopping centers, and which ones do we have here in our area or wherever you live. So when it comes to our area here, Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, Lafayette, Orinda, Concord, maybe Martinez out there too. Sun Valley Mall, the New Veranda Shopping Center, Broadway Plaza in Lafayette where the Whole Foods is there. So think about this. Where do they fall? Answer that for yourself. That is the engagement I'm looking for. More and more now, we are also looking at the non-store retailing. And of course, the first thing we think about is the internet. However, there are many other kinds of non-store retailing, and they are much more prevalent already in the Asian markets, but they have been around here too. You know, the famous Tupperware party, vending machines for all kinds of stuff. Have you been to an airport lately? Interesting vending machines there. And yes, there are even herbs sold in vending machines. Hey, running out of that flatware for your impromptu party? And how about that? I looked into this, very, very interesting. And even the good old jukebox has gotten a makeover. And what is impacting all this retailing? The Great Recession had a lot to do with that. And you will read in our chapters about the showrooming. I bet you have done that too, where you went to a store, looked around, but then purchased online. Mega, bigger, bigger, bigger stuff, and more non-store retailing. Now, switching to the wholesale part of our chapter. This is going to be pretty short because we are not really focused on that. However, to really understand how marketing works, we need to understand a little bit more about this. And why do we have wholesalers? Well, they help us with all kinds of different things. They come in two flavors. The flavor, merchant wholesalers, they are actually purchasing what they have. Those that do not purchase the item. So those are the ones that facilitate stuff, but they don't really have a store. If you think about Costco, you might have heard of that. That is a merchant wholesaler. They actually purchase the merchandise. And that was that. Oh, it's a great chapter. Keep thinking about your own experience, and as you maybe go out and hang out with friends at the mall or wherever you go, or go grocery shopping for the weekend, go ahead and keep thinking about, in which category does this store fall? Or is this a lifestyle center? Or is this a shopping center? What is it? Keep thinking, keep engaging. Stay interested. Be curious.